Hey everyone, I thought it was time for me to sit in front of the camera and just have a chat to you about something that I think is extremely relevant. I find myself repeating myself a lot in various messages, MSN conversations and whatnot that I have with you guys. So I'm going to clear up a couple of things now. This is only my opinion. I want you to remember that. This is only my opinion. But anyway, I'm going to talk about using and buying PowerPC Macs in 2011. There's a difference between using the ones you've already got and buying them. So I'm going to start off with using them. We are in March 2011, and I can strongly say that PowerPC is still very usable. Of course, it's not 100% usable. To be 100% usable, you'd have to run the latest operating system, of course. But just because they're not 100% usable doesn't mean that they're not usable. G4 and G5s are very, very usable. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. You can do... I had a Power Mac G5 up until Christmas, and I could do everything that everyone else was doing, apart from a few things, and it was a great machine. It was a really great machine. I've got a PowerBook G4. Let me grab it here. This is my PowerBook G4. This is my main notebook computer. Unfortunately, at the moment, it needs to go in for repairs. It's got a, I think it's probably a DC board or a logic board failure. But other than that, fantastic machine. I love my PowerBook. And I've got the MDD upstairs that you've recently seen an upgrade video on, and that does everything I want it to. And it does it with speed as well, considering the price that you pay for an MDD. So using PowerPC Macs, I've got no problem with. No problem at all. But that's not what this video is primarily about. What I'm going to talk to you about mainly right now is buying PowerPC Macs. Because do you know what I always get? I always get one question. Do I buy a Power Mac G5, a high-spec Power Mac G5, so we're talking, you know, quad 2.5 gigahertz, or maybe the dual-core ones from 2005, 2.3 gigahertz, a high-spec G5, or do I buy an early Mac Mini? Now, this is a very hard question to answer, and completely ignoring the processors, completely ignoring PowerPC versus Intel, I would definitely say go with the G5. Why? Okay, first off, you can fit more than one hard drive in there. You can fit 2 hard drives in there. Yes, you can do that in the server edition of the Mac Mini, but you can't have a super drive in there as well. So with the G5 you can fit 2 hard drives and a super drive. Sticking to the hard drives point, they're full-size hard drives. Full-size 3.5-inch hard drives. You can put terabytes of storage in the G5. What can you put in the G5 now? 6 terabytes? Because what? The Western Digital are making 3 terabyte Western Digital green drives. Maybe you can put 4 terabytes in, 6 terabytes, whatever you can put in there. It's a lot of storage in the box, and you can have a burner at the same time. Second good thing about the G5, it's got PCI slots. If you wake up one morning and decide you want more USB ports, all you have to do is nip on eBay, spend about 12 quid, and you've suddenly got 4 more USB 2.0 ports on your G5. That might not sound like a big deal to some people, but it's definitely a big deal to me. Third good thing, you can upgrade the graphics cards. Now in the later G5s, yes, you can get more graphics card support. You can even flash better graphics cards to run in the G5, and there are good graphics cards out there that work in the G5. And still sticking to video cards then, you can run multiple graphics cards. So you can have, you know, a graphics workhorse for Photoshop CS4 or something like that. I mean, you know, it's a nice machine. Other than that then, it's a tower. It's a proper desktop Mac, which appeals to me a lot. It's got 8 RAM slots. You can upgrade the RAM to high heavens, even though the G5 2005 takes 16 gigs of RAM, does it? The quad one, I'm not too sure. I should have researched a bit more. But what I'm saying is, when you ignore PowerPC versus Intel, the G5 sounds like a better machine out of the box. But then you've got something which pulls it down. Now, Lion is going to be released shortly. And Lion will be the second Apple OS that doesn't support PowerPC. The second Apple OS. So that means if you're running Leopard, you're going to be 3 generations behind. Which is quite a long time. We're in 2011. By the time Lion comes out, we'll probably be looking at getting into 2012. You know, it'll be summer of 2011 or whatever. It's going to be, you know, a few months until 2012. And, I mean, Leopard, when did Leopard come out? Help me out here. Late 2007? Something like that? I don't know. But, yeah, Leopard. Fantastic OS. I love Leopard, but outdated. Once Lion is out, people are going to stop developing for Leopard. We know this, because when Leopard is out, people develop for Tiger. Now that Snow Leopard is out, people are developing for Leopard. When Lion comes out, they'll develop for Snow Leopard, but they won't develop for Leopard. Maybe you'll get the odd company out there that still supports it, and everyone will support it 2 or 3 months into it. But in the long run, Leopard is not going to be supported. So that is the main issue. I mean, you can talk about app compatibility. I mean, what doesn't run on PowerPC? The new iLife 11, Adobe CS5, all the new versions of everything really, and games as well. Games is another big thing if you're into gaming on your Mac. But that's all to do with, I guess, you know, there isn't any compatibility in the new OSs for PowerPC, so why would you bring out compatibility for PowerPC in the applications? So I can understand the logic. Now, I would have loved them have hung on to the G5 support for a little bit longer. You know, end of 2012, death of G5, fair enough. But the G5 the support is going bad, and that is obvious. So let's talk about pricing, because I'm really rambling. You're going to have to try and cut out snippets of what I'm saying and try and paste together your own opinion. But let's talk about pricing. Now, you can get a really nice spec G5 for £500. £500. Good price. What am I talking there? Dual processor, 2.3 gigahertz, 250 gigs, 320 gigs of hard disk space, 4 gigs of RAM. You know, a decent machine. And it will give you decent performance. But then you look on eBay at Mac Minis. You could get an old 2.4 gigahertz Mac Mini, 320 gigabyte hard drive, 2 gigs of RAM, 4 gigs of RAM. You could get it all for the same price. And guys, even though you're going to get more support, that's the main thing, you're going to get more support, you're actually going to get more speed. Because I'd say any Mac Mini from 2008 onwards is quicker than the 2005 G5. G5s aren't as quick as you think. I used a dual 2.5 gigahertz G5 and it was great. I had it as my main machine for nearly a year. But that thing scored 2,100 on benchmarks. And when you hear the words 2.5 gigahertz, 4 gigs of RAM, it sounds as if it's going to be scoring more, but it's actually not the quickest machine going at all. So they definitely show their age. I mean, that G5 is 7 years old. Bloody brilliant machine for being 7 years old. I'd love to see an old PC that's 7 years old do everything that my G5 did. But yeah, I mean, let's not get into that. Basically, here's the long and short of it. If you've got £500 to spend on a Mac and you're asking me, should I get a Power Mac G5 or a Mac Mini? Honestly, guys, if you've worked hard to get that money, you're really going to have to go for the Mac Mini. And, I mean, the graphics chips in the Mac Minis are pretty good. The previous generation ones had the 9400M, and the 2009 ones had the 9400M, and they've got pretty good graphics in them now. I can't remember the exact model number of the chip. But yeah, they're not bad machines at all. They're nice and speedy, they're sleek. Granted, they are an extremely consumer machine. I mean, they got 2.5-inch hard drives and it's just slightly depressing to think that if you want a full tower system from Apple with all the support, you'll have to go up to a Mac Pro. But anyway, that's that. Now then, another one I get is actually about PowerBook G4s. And this is the second and maybe the last, focused question I'm going to look at, specific machines. I do get questions about other things, iMac G5s and whatnot. By the way, just like to mention, if anyone's thinking of buying an iMac G5, don't bother. They're extremely unreliable, and you can get, for a tiny amount more, you can get one of the first generation white Intel iMacs for only a tiny bit more. You get the support, you get everything. But anyway, back to PowerBooks. Guys, I have a little rule going on in my head, and if you want to use something as your main machine that's got a G4 processor in it, if you're not into video editing, if you're just into general web browsing, email, iTunes, stuff like that, please go for a dual G4. You will not believe the speed increase for dual G4. I had a single 933 megahertz Quicksilver, and I had a dual 1 gigahertz MDD. MDDs are generally faster, of course, but you will not believe the difference. What's that? 67 megahertz difference, which is nothing, I guess. And guys, just having that dual processor, it was just so much quicker. It really, really was. If I'm honest with you, my PowerBook is a 1.5 gigahertz single G4. Of course, they didn't make dual processor PowerBooks. And if I'm honest with you, this thing, compared to a dual 1 gigahertz MDD, this thing in comparison is slow. Single G4s are slow in my opinion, and PowerBooks, they're not fast. And the Leopard, they are slow. And all I use mine for is Pages and text edit and a few other random things like that. I don't do anything major on mine, but you will not be getting any kind of snappy speed with a PowerBook G4 in this day and age. Go back down to Tiger, go back and use Microsoft Office 2004, and then you'll get a difference. Upgrade your hard drive to 7200 RPM, that'll get you a big difference. Make sure you're running 2 gigs of RAM and whatnot. But at the end of the day, guys, those single processor G4s, in my opinion, aren't the quickest. Now then, what is your alternative? Go out and buy a first generation MacBook Pro. Honestly, guys, honestly, PowerBooks are still going for about £300 depending on the configuration, the high-end aluminium ones. MacBook Pros, £350, you'll get a low-end Core Duo MacBook Pro or even a Core 2 Duo MacBook Pro. Guys, honestly, go with the MacBook Pro. And I'd just like to break the news to you now. I am seriously considering, after repairing my PowerBook, I'm seriously considering selling it and buying a first generation MacBook Pro. I really am. It's just so worth it. So that's just my quick answer to a lot of questions. Because guys, it might sound stupid, but I do get a load of questions of people asking me about PowerBook G4s and PowerMac G5s. Now, that's for sort of main machine use, what I've spoken about. PowerPC. If you want a slave machine, something that handle web browsing, email, something that will maybe do a bit of light photoshopping, light video editing, something that I am so passionately in love with. That sounds stupid, but guys, where am I going with this? The best PowerPC Mac to buy that combines performance with price, with general awesomeness, the best one out there to get is an NDD. Because the dual 1.42 GHz MDD or 1.25 GHz MDD is an absolute beast. And they are quicker than the single 1.6 and 1.8 G5s. And, they give the dual 1.8 GHz G5s a run for their money. Guys, MDDs are very nice machines and they're cheap. They are very cheap. The parts are cheap. The computers themselves are cheap. They are reliable beyond belief. I have never had MDD issues, and I've had I've had 2 MDDs now, and yeah, both brilliant. My friend James uses an MDD as his main machine. awesome machine. But anyway, guys, I just thought I'd talk a little bit about PowerPC, just to give my own sort of from the heart opinions about it. It'll sound stupid, but to you geeks out there, I guess you'll know where I'm coming from. I love PowerPC, I really do, and I love being able to say I still carry around a PowerBook G4 as my main portable, and I like being able to say I do all of my audio editing on a 9-year-old G4 system. I love being able to say that. It is fantastic. And I'm gutted. I'm very gutted that I've had to join the club, really. You know, the Intel club. The Mac Pro is a gorgeous machine, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't swap it for the world. But there's something about PowerPC. My G5 just had that spark. And yeah, it's great. It's great. And if you buy a PowerPC Mac and you don't have high expectations, you're going to be very pleased. They're stable, they work, they were great back in the day and they're still great now. And look, I've got, what is this now? 13-year-old G3 down here. A 13-year-old 400 megahertz G3. This thing is connected via FireWire 400 to my 750 gigabyte external hard drive, and it handles all of my downloading. And it handles all of my file sharing around my house. It's a beast for what I want it. It's running Panther. Yes, I might be upgrading to Tiger. Stay tuned to the channel. But I love this machine. It's got a gig of RAM in it. It's got 40 gigs of internal disk space. It's got a burner in it. ATI Rage 128 Pro with 16 megs of VRAM. It's a lovely machine. It's PowerPC. It's ancient. It's slow. It's sluggish. But it's special, and it's special to me. And my PowerBook, I've carried this around since the start of 2009, and wow, guys, my PowerBook is my best friend. It's amazing. I love it. I can just open the lid and do whatever I want. So, PowerPC, I fully respect it. But when you burst your little bubble and step back into reality, you soon realise that you'll get a lot more support and you don't have to spend that much more money when buying earlier Intel machines. You really don't. And as well, guys, you see on eBay PowerMac G5 quads being sold for about £700. They're all around the 650, 700 mark for a quad G5. And you can get a quad 2.66 for around 900. We're talking Mac Pro, quad 2.66 Xeon, leaps and bounds ahead of the G5, absolute leaps and bounds. So just something for you to think of. Browse eBay, open tabs, scroll down the PowerMac G5s, scroll down the Mac Pros, scroll down the MacBook Pros, scroll down the PowerBook G4s. You'll see what I mean. And honestly, guys, Intel, so much more compatibility. But anyway, I've ranted a lot in this video. I wanted to just, make everyone aware of my thoughts. A few of you have been a little bit offended ever since I got the Mac Pro. You're ditching PowerPC and all that. I'm not ditching PowerPC, guys. Here's the ratio. I use 4 Macs very often. I use my Mac Pro, my PowerBook G4, my PowerMac G4, and my PowerMac G3. Only one out of those 4 Macs is Intel based. Only one out of those 4. So I'm still a PowerPC lover. And don't get me wrong, I love my Mac Pro. It's a beast. It's 10 times faster than all my PowerPC machines put together. But it's an 8-core Mac Pro, what do you expect? My newest PowerPC machine is my PowerBook, and that's, 6 years old? And it does marvellously. It's amazing. So anyway, guys, if you want to ask me advice on buying PowerPC Macs or buying early Intel Macs, please message or email me. It'll be much easier for us to have a proper chat rather than if you comment down below. But if you have any interesting comments that you'd like to add to this video, then post them down below. If you have any video responses, please feel free to make one and then post the response. And I understand that I'm going to get a few dislikes for this video for absolute PowerPC fanboys that buy a Quad G5 and upgrade it to the maximum and make it outperform Mac Pros, but I'm looking into the reality, and I used to be PowerPC obsessed, so much to the stage where I never used my MacBook, but I'm looking in the real world now, and I can strongly see where things are going. So this has all been my opinion, guys. I understand if you disagree, but I think a lot of you will be able to see my logic for my opinions. And yeah, thanks very much for your patience during this video. It's been a pretty long one of me just sitting here in front of the camera, but I want you to stay tuned to the channel. I've got some exciting stuff coming up, some more retro stuff to show you, a wonderful piece of retro audio equipment to show you. I've got tour of each room, tour of my attic. I've got some great stuff. Oh, and as well, by the way, guys, I'm gonna do a 2-part video on touring you around my home cinema. First part will be hardware based, second part will be software based. So stay tuned for that. That'll be very enjoyable. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Please follow me on Twitter. Please email me if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks very much.